everybody, welcome back to the MXGP of West Nusa Tenggara on the island of Lombok, where we are about to conclude proceedings here with MXGP Race 2. And heading into this second race, when we talk of Grand Prix victories in Indonesia and in Asia, Jorge Prado has 3 wins, Tim Gajser has 3 wins, Jeffrey Herlings has 2. And they are the main 3 riders in the championship chase coming into round 11. Who will it be that stands on the podium this weekend? After the second race, who will it be that is on the top step? Will there be a 4th victory for Prado and Gajser? Will it be Herlings with a 3rd victory around here? Or will there be a real spanner in the works? We are moments away from the start of MXGP Race 2 here at the MXGP of West Nusa Tenggara. And yeah, what an exciting prospect it is as well. Another rider that could find his way into the mix. Jeremy Seewer, of course, he was a winner here back in 2017 with a 1st and a 2nd. Calvin Verlanderen with a 3rd and a 1st. Both of those at Pankau Penang in 2017 and 2018 in the MX2 category. So it'll be interesting to see how this one pans out. There's your racetrack. If you're with us all through the weekend, you'll know that by now. 1.6 meters, 1.6 kilometers long, just over a mile. It's hard, it's loose, it's edgy. The floodgates opened from clear blue skies at the start of race 2, MX2. Of course, I mean that in the cheesiest fashion. We had a 1-hour break, so the track was very, very wet. Like one of our riders just said a moment ago, we had a mud race without rain. Let's take a look at what happened in MXGP Race 1, though, earlier on in the day. Jeremy Seewer, number 91, with his 3rd foxhole shot of the campaign. Gajser was there in 2nd, but Herlings forced his way up the inside and came out in 2nd. And by the time they went into the next turn, turn 3, Herlings was leading the way. Out-dragged the Kawasaki down past pit lane as Prado got alongside Gajser to move into 3rd. Seewer would fall back to 4th before the end of the lap, though, because Herlings went through, Prado came through. And then towards the end of the lap, with about 4 corners to go, Tim Gajser also made his move, coming out of the right-hander towards the double to move into 3rd. And at that stage, it looked like we were going to get a bit of a race between the top 3 in the championship. But Gajser settled into a comfortable pace. The 2 Yamahas, Calvin Verlanderen found his way past Andrea Bonacorsi. That put him up into 5th on lap 2. He would put in a late charge as well, as he had a bit of cat and mouse with Jeremy Seewer. These 2 trading positions before this. And again, Seewer tried to block the Yamaha, but in the end, the Kawasaki man just didn't get the drive coming out of that turn. Verlanderen made the pass stick, and it was he who took 4th. And with a couple of laps to go, Andrea Bonacorsi caught Seewer napping, ran down the inside, seized that opportunity. Seewer did try to respond in the next couple of corners, but didn't. And it was Bonacorsi who came home in 5th, Seewer 6th. But Jeffrey Herlings, with his 5th race win of the season, victorious in race 1 from Jorge Prado and Tim Gajser. And Lisa Leyland was down on the grid a few moments ago before they went out on the sighting lap, and she caught up with Tim Gajser, who was 3rd in race 1 for Team HLC.
So we're almost ready for the final race of the day, MXGP Race 2, but let's catch up with Team HRC's Tim Gajser. Tim, that first race, you were looking solid in 3rd. How much of that was race management, respecting the conditions, perhaps holding back a little bit for the second race of the day?
I mean, the conditions are quite hot, yeah, it's not easy, but anyway, it's the same for everyone. Maybe I was not enough aggressive on the beginning, you know, to go with Jorge and Jeffrey on the beginning of the race. After, the pace was okay, but yeah, tried to take a good start now in the second one. They put quite a lot of water, so the track is quite sketchy, slippery, a lot of water on it. So yeah, start's important, and then the riding well.
Also, something else that will perhaps play a part in the final race of the day is the light. The sun is setting slightly. Is that going to play a part? Is it going to be a factor?
Yeah, exactly. You know, also yesterday we had a quali at the same time, and some takeoffs you don't see, you know, because of the shadows. So you have to be careful. You have to check the takeoffs nicely, because it has some edges, you know. So you need to be careful. Yes.
Best of luck. Thank you, Tim Gajser there. Good luck to all the guys. It's time for MXGP Race 2.
Take a look at where we've been, where we're going. Left side of the page, look, all done and dusted, fading into some kind of obscurity. A double header here on the island of Lombok, the MXGP of West Nusa Tenggara and Lombok coming up next weekend. The track will be in the opposite direction. And yeah, we get a break when we head back to Europe for 1 week, and then we do 2 in a row, 3 in a row, 2 in a row, and yeah, we are ending on the 6th of October. Monster Energy FI Motocross of Nations, Natalie based in Great Britain. Once again, go to mxgp.com, go to the calendar if you're interested in going to any of the races. All the information will be there, local airports, road networks, everything else. And yeah, just check in for news and ticket availability. See the flag blowing in the wind there. We've got a stiffer breeze than we had in race 1. That might be problematic for that big Monster Energy triple jump, because as you come through that turn in the centre of the circuit, through turn 6, you're automatically being pushed to the right-hand side anyway, so the riders will be mindful of the fact that they need to stay more middle of the track to land perfectly well. Here's how the riders line up, as they did for race 1, based on their RAM qualifying race. On Saturday, of course, the RAM qualifying race is a competition within itself, so the most pole positions and RAM qualifying wins at the end of the year. There's a nice 6-month RAM experience waiting for you. But Jeffrey Herlings took his first RAM qualifying race win of the campaign, and he will be going to the line first. Jorge Prado, Tim Gajser, Jeremy Seaver, Calvin Villana and Kevin Horgmo, Valentin Guillot. You know what, you can't separate the two ship-to-cycle Honda riders this weekend. Together in qualifying, together in race 1. Will they be together in race 2? They'll probably holiday together this week between races. Brian Boger's not lining up, dislocated his shoulder on the opening lap of the RAM qualifying race on Saturday. He'll probably fly back to Europe tomorrow, get it assessed and checked out, and hopefully make a return in the Czech Republic 3 weekends from now. So Jeffrey Herlings, your winner from race 1. Now, here's the thing with the race win stats. It's 197/199, because back in 2013 when we had the super finale where MX2 race 2 was in the same race as MXGP race 2, Jeffrey Herlings won 2 of those and was awarded 25 points. But because he didn't cross the line as the lead MX2 rider, or the lead rider in the race, for those 199 race wins now, those 2 victories, they're kind of on the sidelines, if you like. So 197 is his actual race tally. So if he gets another one today, that's 198. He could be chasing 200 in a week's time. Even went and spoke to him about it myself, and he was like, yeah, in my eyes it's 199 because I was a 2-time race winner in the MX2 class. I got the 25 points for it, but because the FIM said I didn't cross the line first, then he said I'll go with that 197 as it is right now. Jorge Prado, second in race 1. I spoke to Davide Di Carli during the break. He said Jorge said he had a good speed, he had a good pace, the same pace as Jeffrey Herlings. But when Jeffrey went at that final sort of 10 minutes, he didn't want to go with him, didn't want to risk anything. So that was that. I went and spoke to Marcus De Freitas as well from Team HRC, and he said Tim gambled on a normal traditional MT32 Sandcross tyre as opposed to a scoop. Everyone else ran scoops, and he said it kind of was a disadvantage for him in the end. So he's going to run a scoop this time around, Tim Gajser, and he said he also felt like he was holding something back for race 2. Jeremy Seaver, well, he was up at the sharp end, wasn't he, with that foxhole shot, but eventually came home in 6th place. He'll be hoping for more. Can he get on the podium? Calvin Villana will be hoping for the podium here if he can. He's in a good position. So too is his teammate, Andrea Bonacorsi. Those 2 Monster Energy Yamahas finished 4th and 5th in race 1, behind Herlings, Prado and Gajser. But race 2 is another race, 30 minutes plus 2. How will it pan out? Who's getting the foxhole shot? Who's going to come home the winner? Jeffrey Herlings led every single one of the 17 laps in race 1 as the Fly Racing 15-second board goes up for the final time here. The MXGP of West Nusa Tenggara. Prado gate 2, Gajser gate 3, Seaver gate 4. Our eyes over to the right, their left as they exit the start gates. Race 2 underway. Prado moved immediately to his right to mess up Gajser, gave him a lot of room going in there as well. And it's going to be Prado, but Herlings nudges him wide on the exit and takes the lead immediately. Gajser sits there behind him in 3rd. Seaver and one of the ship-to-cycle boys there in 4th place. But Prado for the 12th time with the foxhole shot, but just ran it wide. Herlings up the inside, just like he did in race 1, to nip into second place. But even sooner than we had in race 1, the top 3 riders are going to be right at the sharp end on a track that's drying out. And the Yamaha of Vlaanderen goes around Siwa. He moves up into 4th place. Easier than he did in race 1. Can he run with the likes of Herlings and Prado? Prado gets good drive and then bounces offline. Look, he's all the way to the outside. He's on the asphalt. He's trying to get back on track, but Gajser finds his way through. Difficult there if it was a straight line, but it wasn't, because that row to the outside, wow, what a safety blanket that was for him, for Prado. You are always pushing, pushing, pushing. Knobbles on tarmac, with wet knobbles on tarmac, even worse. Well, I'll tell you what, that was a bit of a heart-in-the-mouth moment for the number 1. Has that affected his early race confidence coming into race 2 now from here on out? Certainly for Tim Gajser, finding his way past Prado, that's going to open up his strategy a little bit differently, because he's got one rider ahead of him, and it's Jeffrey Herlings. They'll use this race to feel their way around, this lap to feel their way around. But once again, the Bullet firing a warning shot here on the opening lap, just like he did in race 1. Quick to the front, even quicker this time around. The exit of turn 1. The braking bumps on the downside of the finish line. The top 4 riders separated by 3.5 seconds at the end of that opening lap. Won't get a lap time and a lap count until next time around. Finish line to finish line, remember. But it's Herlings about a second clear of Gajser. Prado here 1.6 further back, and then Vlaanderen less than a second. Then we've got Siwa Guadagnini, who had a stone jam his rear brake pedal on the final lap in race 1, dropped him from 8 to 10. Watch this here. He got the run and then got pitched once, twice, and then he couldn't straighten it up. Went off the side of the track here. He was on the asphalt trying to turn, and then just got back on track, but not before Gajser had gone through. An early, costly mistake for Prado. Heading into race 2, Gajser, who held a 34-point advantage going into the whole weekend before the Ram qualifying race. It was 33 after the Ram qualifying race. 31 points over Prado. Herlings another 33 further back. That's how it stands going into race 2. Prado looks like he's got his mojo back here. A little bit of urgency through those couple of corners. But Calvin Vlaanderen going with him. Some of his little mistakes late on in the races, because Calvin Vlaanderen obviously climbing up to the level of Herlings, of Prado, of Gajser. So having to do that, probably finding another 5 or 6%, maybe even another 10%. And just like that, he goes down again. I was about to say, he gets used to running that pace. And just a little mistake there. And Vlaanderen out of 4th. Needs to pick himself up and regain his composure. He's still got time in which to run with these guys. Just watch this. Just jumps to the inside. Ah, look at that. That rainstorm that we had in the break after MXGP race 1, catching him out. Nothing in it between first and second. Gajser sensed he was holding something back, but he was also, I found out, running a normal tread pattern tyre when everyone else was on scoops. He's changed to a scoop this time around. And you know what? It looks like he's going to be reaping the benefits of it as well. Because we've got a different Tim Gajser firing at the moment. But look at the shadows there. Hesitant to go in because of the sun behind the boards. Couldn't quite see the line, was reluctant to push to the outside. And that outside line does look like it wants to break away at any given moment. These two not tripling in. Is Prado tripling in? Will we get a... No, neither of them are. So Siwa now to 4th, Guadagnini is 5th, and then Hawkmo Vlaanderen re-emerges in 7th. So Jeremy Siwa, 6th in race 1, 4th in race 2. Not me on the podium here because Herlings, Gajser, Prado, Herlings, Gajser, whichever way you want to look at it. The 3 riders from race 1 are occupying the top 3 positions. Wicked kick there from the back end. Okay, heading into the first turn. Watch Prado. Runs, well, actually not too far, but he did give himself a little bit of space. He runs in, gets pushed wide here by Herlings, gets on the gas just as he claims that foxhole shot. Probably wasn't expecting it. Herlings leading right from the back. Gajser tried to tiptoe around, but Prado just snuck back into that second position. Right, all of a sudden, good lap this, good response from Herlings. It was 2.3 after the last split, but you know what? In the final sector, Gajser has pulled it back. He did a 27.8 compared to the 28.5 of Herlings, and he's pulled it back to 1.6. These two tied together by a piece of elastic at the moment. You stretch it far enough, pings back onto the rear wheel of Herlings. That's how it's going to be. Flow around the corners is the message. Prado 3 seconds further back, so even though he set the fastest sector time last time around in sector 1 and again in sector 2, 2.6 seconds adrift now of Gajser. And Gajser all of a sudden says, you know what, I'm going to pop the triple. Prado would have seen that as well, and I guarantee Prado will probably launch it as well next time around. And if they are doing that, Herlings isn't, they're going to be gaining about a half a second or so, 3/4 of a second on that part of the track alone. Add a couple of tenths here and there across the rest of the lap. Doesn't take a genius to work out that a 2.5 second gap will soon come down to nothing. There's the flow that they were talking about. Outside, outside, stay out of those horrible little holes. But look at Prado working his way back into contention. He's no longer 2 seconds behind Gajser. He's figured his stuff out. Has the number 1, the defending champion. He's taken that breather and he's ready to come out all guns blazing. Look at the urgency of him as well, doubling in here, chasing the dirt around the outside. Again, just making the track shorter in as many places as possible. Good lap this. Fastest sector in time 1, a personal best in time 2. He's on for a fastest lap of the race. Herlings a 2:01.5 last time around. It's going to be Prado this time around, surely. As they hit the line this time around. Yes, a 2 minutes, .855 for Prado. He's 1.5 seconds off of Gajser, 4 seconds off of Herlings. Game on with 21 minutes to go. Herlings was a 2:01.4. Prado, 2 minutes, .8. He needs a good 10-minute stint here, doesn't he, Jorge Prado? If he can do that, get himself onto the rear wheel of Tim Gajser and apply the pressure, maybe even make a pass, that might just reshape his whole race. At the moment, Gajser with a 3.2 is going to be on the second step of the podium. Prado with a 2.3 is going to be tied, but losing out in that second race tiebreak. Look how edgy and steppy the track is coming out of that turn. As it stands right now, this is the podium. Herlings 1-1, Gajser 3-2, Prado 2-3. But there's still a very, very long way to go in this race. See, we're 10 seconds back in 4th, eyeing at 4th place. See the colour of the sky in the background there, the sun moving round to our right as we look on screen. Looks like it's just taken a bit of a dive behind the clouds, which is going to be perfect for the riders, actually, because there will be no shadows on the faces of the jumps, as Gajser was talking about in his pre-grid interview. So the track very even in what they're looking at. No little surprises here and there. Ah, there was a surprise there, though, for Gajser. Back end buried itself, and Herlings has gone from the lead. Herlings is not going to be on the top step of the podium here. He goes down. Did he cross-rut? Because he's gone down through a right-hander on the left-hand side. Has he buried the front in and tipped over to the right? Well, that's a game-changer all by itself. He's going to have a wet glove. Yep, wiping the glove on the back of his pants. Trying to kick up the clutch lever. He's probably bent the bars as well. And he's got mud on the bars, mud on the glove. Wow. Just pushing too hard, possibly. Game on. Gajser Prado take over the top 2 places. Trying to kick up the lever when he come in to try and get that change. And my guess is he probably won't in with 20 minutes to go. He's just going to have a ride around it. Well, I'll tell you what, that's going to stoke the fire in the belly, isn't it? He is now 9 seconds off the lead, 8 behind Prado. Gajser and Prado would have seen that. They know they're now on for the top step of the podium. As it stands right now, Gajser 45 with a 3-1, Herlings 1-3 on 45, Prado 2-2 on 44. Prado makes the pass, he wins the overall. Gajser will probably know that as well. He's going to have a tough task keeping the Spaniard behind him. See the urgency now, the sense of urgency once again from Prado. Gajser doesn't want to leave the doors open. He knows the number one will be charging down the inside, taking advantage if and when the opportunity presents itself. Stays lower, can't find a way through there though. Oh, rails around the outside, Gajser sensed it. Closes off the opportunity. This is where Herlings crashed a lap ago. Guessing we don't have it. Well, I'm just hearing that we do have it, and we'll show it as soon as we get it. But all eyes on this battle, the run towards the line here, and the potential change of the lead of Prado down the inside. We are going to see a new leader. Oh, they tag. Gajser goes down. Prado, he was doing his thing, and actually he was slowing the race down. Gajser tried to cut across, didn't read the situation, and he went down. All of a sudden there's a lifeline here for Herlings as well. Couple of replays to come up then very, very shortly. Both of them with riders falling from the lead. From second place. Right, here's Herlings first of all. He was leading by about 2 seconds. He drops over the hill here. Oh, okay, we've already had it at this point. There you go, top of your screen. Yeah, he jumps in, catches the rut, tips over to the left. Gajser and Prado couldn't believe their eyes. Look, gifted. And then watch Gajser here. He tries to just cut back. Prado slowed it right down, didn't anticipate. Prado knew what he was doing. Gajser should have just read that a little bit better. At least let him go by you before you cut back to the inside. He'll know that was his own mistake, really, when he watches it back. So Prado then, clear track ahead of him. And right where he needs to be, 7 seconds clear of Gajser, 11.5 seconds clear of Herlings. But this racetrack, having a knack of catching out the best riders in the world. He's chopping up. They had a fresh downpour of water before race 2, MX2. That's just added to it all because it's hard and slick, edgy. Sun's come back out as well. That's going to throw another spanner in the works because all of a sudden some of those jump faces are going to be thrown into darkness. 1 or 2 edges. Tim Gajser, can he get his head down here? Well, he's won the Foxhole Shot Award, if nothing else, but that'll be little consolation to the 243, who would have much rather stood on the top step of the podium. But it's going to be, at the moment, a second and a first. Jorge Prado, Herlings, a 1-3. It's going to be second on 45. Gajser third, 42 with a 3-2 at the moment. Last year, Prado's second overall here with a 1-2 compared to the 2-1 of Roman Fevre. Right, 3.9 the gap. Wow, look at that. Gajser, last time around, 211.4. Herlings, 205.5. That was because of the fall, surely. But the split times now, 31.8, 31.4, Gajser Herlings. 28.0, 26.8, Gajser Herlings. Oh, he's chasing the front end through there as well. Almost off the bike again. The gap down to 2.7 all of a sudden. There is the flash of orange in the background. Jeffrey Herlings going all in, all for broke. Needs as many points as he can get. Riding around the problem, bent handlebar, damaged clutch lever, through the next split. 9/10 quicker than Gajser that time around as well. The gap 1.9 now as he homes in on the Slovenian and a potential second place finish. You know what, once bitten, twice shy, holds a nice tight line that time around. Probably the time before that, the bullet. Closing in, isn't he? Last time out in race one, fastest lap 1:53.655. Jeffrey Herlings will get the Acerbis fastest lap of the weekend because 2 minutes 0.855 Prado in race 2. Differing tracking conditions, not going to get quicker than that. And in that respect, Jeffrey Herlings will add his name to the list for the 3rd time, but Jorge Prado has 7 of those fastest laps so far this year. But Jeffrey Herlings in the ascendancy at the moment. He's brought back to the rear wheel of Tim Gajser. Neither rider tripling in. Even Gajser's decided to think, you know what? Think better of that. There's Prado going in the opposite direction. Very choppy out of that turn. Herlings chasing dirt around the outside. As Gajser going defensive through that long sweeping wave section. 12 waves through there. Different heights, different widths apart, different parts of the racetrack. Right, Herlings, cleaner. That's the smooth corner technique that the mechanics were talking about, just like he did in the ramp qualifying race. Same part of the racetrack. He's going to try and find his way past Gajser, who reads it well this time around, but not well enough. Herlings goes through into second. Roger Shenton looking on, expressionless. Gajser tried to come back for more. Right, let's get a real sense of what to expect. All of a sudden, Prado has gone round in a 2:04.6. He and Herlings went through in 2:02s last time around. Right, we'll get a gap. We'll get a lap time, 2:03. 10.6 seconds, 11.5 minutes to go. Now he's got clear track. Let's sneaky look across to see where Prado is. Can't see because of the 2-meter high advertising boards, of course. But wherever he can get the look, Jeffrey Herlings will try and whittle that down and have that as his mental marker. He's already started to break free from Gajser, who now looks resigned to the fact that the 3-3 might be on the cards here, unless he can flick that switch with 5-6 minutes to go, +2. We'll keep our eye on the first sectors. Well, Prado by about a 10th at the moment. Sector 2 will be coming out of the next right-hander. This is what 10.7 seconds looks like here. Yeah, looking across there, look. That is a big ask, isn't it? It's not impossible. It's going to come down to fitness. One thing all these 3 riders have in their favour. Gajser tips over again. Seawood's going to go through, and so too is Valandren. Gajser out of 3rd. The wheels have fallen off in race 2. And I wonder how much of that is just, it might be down to the heat, the exhaustion, or just that mental edge of losing that battle. Well, this is Guadagnini going down as well. Guadagnini out of 7. So Tim Gajser, a massive rebuilding job here. He's on the pegs at the moment, and I wonder if he's just not feeling quite 100%. Because that was just a simple mistake in that turn, just lost the front, and he's now under pressure from Kevin Horgmo in 6th place. So Gajser going from 3rd to 5th. And that's going to put Calvin Verlanderen on the podium, third overall, tied with Gajser on 36 points. Verlanderen 18-18, 2 fourth-place finishes. Gajser 3-6 is going to be a 20 and a 16. Sorry, 3-6. 36 for a third and a sixth place. Yeah, 3-6. Watch here. Just comes in. He was already unsettled at this point. And just, yeah, the back end went and then just tipped him over the side. Picks himself up. Losing 2 positions there immediately. So again, we've got 3 riders chasing. Third overall, Verlanderen, Gajser on 36, Seaver on 35. Be calm and breathe. That is the message down there from race control for HRC. Prado still 10 seconds clear. Herlings hasn't been able to make an indent into that lead. And Jorge Prado, who hasn't won to Germany, was third in Latvia, 10th overall in Italy after not finishing race 2. Eyeing up the top step again. Hogmo can't stay with Gajser. Every time they come back this way around, the sun low, making it difficult visibility-wise. Here's the first we've seen of the Smurf, Siwa. He's under pressure here in third place from Calvin Verlanderen. Verlanderen finds his way past like he did in race 1. That cements his third place. Siwa can't do anything more at the moment unless there's a problem between Prado or Herlings, and he can capitalise. They're 8 seconds further up the track. And this is a great response from Verlanderen as well. Don't forget, he fell from 4th on lap 1. He's now back into 4th. Dropped down to 7th, so he's picked off some riders. So his speed is good, his confidence is high. But as I was trying to allude to, when you're pushing that extra 3 or 4, 5% to stay with the likes of Prado, Herlings and Gajser, you are going to make mistakes. You are pushing your own boundaries. But can he get that first podium? It's eluded him on 3 occasions this year. Trentino, Germany and Italy. Is he going to be 4th time lucky? That's how tight it is, look. Lap times last time around, Prado 2:04.09. Herlings is whittling away, 9.7 as he goes 2:03.4. He was a 10th quicker in sector 1. He's gone 3/10 quicker in sector 2 this time around. So the gap coming down to 9.4 seconds all of a sudden halfway round the lap. Siwa and Verlanderen, those two separated by 1.2 seconds now, because even Steven for them in sector 1, 28.4, 27.6. Siwa, Verlanderen respectively in sector 2. Sector 3 now for Prado, 35.9. We wait for Herlings to come through any moment now through that same right-hander. 35.9 and a 36.3, so loses time, back out to 9.8. That was nice. Feet up on the pegs, into the turn, cut down early. Didn't even break traction. Very, very smooth turn that for Prado. The little things like that making the difference. Landing smooth on the right-hand side, avoiding the braking bumps on the finish line jump as well. And the gap goes back out to 9.1 as Prado goes 6/10 quicker than Herlings on lap 11. See, we're half a second quicker in the final sector to put 2.3 seconds between himself and Verlanderen. So Siwa, for now, getting the memo from pit lane. It's nice how they just pick the front wheel up, doesn't it? Down the end of the pit straight, over the braking bumps. Brutal track, though, really, because it's so hard and Adri. Another look across there. because he knows that he can look across through the gap to this point of the racetrack to see where Prado. He'll look again across the left if he can. Doesn't need to, he's already had his visual marker. There he is, heading that way in the opposite direction. Prado making it very difficult for Herlings. Splits coming through here, sector 2. Again, is quicker, it's back down to 8.8. Koldenhoff having a difficult second race. He's up into 12th. He's found his way past Gio. Gifting there in 14th position, the JK Yamaha rider, saying he's never ridden a track like this, you know, because said I've set the bike too low at the rear, I'm pushing too much at the front, and if I set it too steep, then, you know, it's a different problem again altogether. So just the ground, the unfamiliarity of it, it's hard, it's slick, it's loose, it's unpredictable. Look at this, Valandren closing back in on Jeremy Seawer. These two resume their battle for third place in the race. Valandren is third overall in the Grand Prix at the moment, but 2 more points would cement that for the number 10. It's going to be a big 3.5-minute push for these two, plus those 2 laps, where the lap times now are more than 2 minutes a lap. Working their way towards the end of lap 12. Seawer over the line at 2:06.09. Valandren 2:05.1. The gap 1.3 between them. Don't need me to tell you that. See the gap right there. It's going to come down to smart line choices between these two. The further wide you run through corners like that, when you can maybe go inside and hold a tighter line, those things are going to be the difference. How quick and how efficient you can be through some of the other turns as well. So a good response from Seawer as well after his disappointment of race 1, where he was in 4th for 12 of the 17 laps. And then the same 2 riders played a little bit of cat and mouse, on-track shenanigans, a little, you know, park and stop down the inside before Valandren did go through. And then just as he looked safe in that 5th place, Bonacorsi sprung a surprise attack. Koldenhoff going past Bonacorsi now as we speak. So Koldenhoff up into 11th. Bonacorsi, who was 5th in race 1, now down in 12th. Trying to stay the shortest route through at the end of that wave section. Both riders, Seawer and Valandren. See the ruts on the face of that jump as well. The sun coming in from the left as they approach that as well. So that's where places like that are going to be casting shadows. Don't know what you get until you hit it. Unfortunate that Valandren fell through that turn prior to this one on that opening lap when he was already in 4th place. Would that have made a difference to him? Well, this was Valandren on the opening lap when he was behind the top 3. Just comes into view now over on the left-hand side. Look at that, just washed out. Couldn't do anything about it. Trying a different line, really, just to try and find his way into 3rd, or keep the rider in 3rd, nice and honest. But again, nothing between them. We're going to be 3 laps to go territory right now. And Prado has now distanced himself from Jeffrey Herlings. 12.3 between the Spaniard and the Dutchman. And Prado on course for his 7th Grand Prix victory of the season. Despite going off track here on the opening lap, he's done well, hasn't he? He's capitalised on Herlings tipping over. And when he found his way past Gajser, he's capitalised on the fact that as he brake-checked him to the inside, Gajser didn't read the situation, cut down too early, front on back. Gajser losing out. Didn't lose a position at that moment. He regained his 2nd place, but Herlings did come through on lap 8. So 5 laps to go. So this was the moment that Herlings tucked his way down the inside. Gajser tried to read and cover the outside, but Herlings tucked back to the inside, and that was second for the Dutchman. Herlings fell from the lead in this corner, allowing both Gajser and Prado to go through. That was on lap 3. And this was the moment. Top of your screen, look, Herlings tipping right, jumps long, cross ruts. He goes left, the track goes right, and that was Gajser and Prado going through. And then a couple of laps after that, as they came over the finish line jump, we saw the tag of wheels between Prado, who had the inside line over the finish line jump. He was commanding the inside line. And Gajser obviously just met the situation, and he tipped over as well. There has been a slight response from Herlings, but 11.5 seconds. Too big a gap, too big a task with just 2 to go. Less than now. And Jorge Prado, the Red Bull Gas rider, a difficult visit to Italy. He's a step closer to reducing the gap at the top of the championship. Down to what, 22 points. Started the weekend off 34. Down on Tim Gajser. So that is a perfect response in many ways from Jorge Prado in the greater scheme of things. Regardless of what happened on track, who made what mistakes, who fell where, when. A second and a first will tell the story of a Grand Prix win. Here's Gajser's mistakes of the race so far. Or maybe not. Oh, here we go. Right. He looks across. He knows that Prado's there, but watch, Prado just locks up. Gajser just misread it. It just tipped over. Stayed there in second. Herlings had already gone by, and then when he was trying to latch onto Herlings, watch the front and back here, high-sided off the side of the bike, that pushed him down to 5th, that's where he remains. It looked like he really had a lot to offer at the start of the race. Different tyre choice. Was ready to fight, ready to go toe-to-toe. Just 2 mistakes, the difference in the end for Tim Gajser. The difference between 3rd and 4th in the Grand Prix, because Gajser, 5.5 seconds behind Valandren, needs to pass the South African to find his way onto 3rd. But halfway round the final lap, Jorge Prado, Red Bull Gas. Factory racing on course for what will be his 12th race win of the season. He won 14 on the way to the championship last year. And he's still second in the championship by 22 points, don't forget. There's Herlings bottom left. There's Siwa and Valandren. Top 4 separated by, 16 seconds. 7 seconds between 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Wow. Gnarly old racetrack in parts. Just a handful of corners away from the checkered flag. Jorge Prado. And win number 12. And a step closer to the top of the championship once more. What is it, a handful of points down after Latvia. But Jorge Prado getting the crowd on their feet there as he goes through. Prado heads towards the Monster Energy finish line. He wins race 2. He wins the MXGP of West Nusa Tenggara. Jeffrey Herlings second in the race, second overall. tied with Prado. Siwa will cross the line third, but Calvin Vallanderen takes his first podium of 2024 as a Monster Energy Yamaha factory rider. 2 fourth-place finishes, consistency paying out in the end. And celebration time for Prado. 7 wins now for the season. His 45th Grand Prix victory. A good day at the office for the Spaniard. He's now just 2 behind Tim Gajser, 5 behind Joel Robert, the 6-time legendary Belgian world champion, who sits 5th on the all-time list. Gajser 6th. And Calvin Vallanderen celebrating there with his girlfriend. Good job, Calvin. And a sigh of relief for Yamaha. That first podium has finally come their way. So an interesting Grand Prix, an up and down Grand Prix this weekend. But Jorge Prado, his 7th win of the season. He does it with a 2-1. And Herlings second with a 1-2. Third for Vallanderen, who stays 4th in the championship. Two fourth-place finishes. Good to see CV10 up there. And a likely candidate for our studio show next week. But riders just taking a moment down there. Obviously, MXGP 450s, the toughest class in the world. It's hot. Anyway, here's Jorge Prado with Lisa.
Jorge Prado, congratulations. A 2nd and a race win to get your 7th overall of the season. After Italy, you really needed this.
Yeah, I just said it before coming over here. My goal is to win every GP. So, yeah, we started the second half of the season again in a good note, like we did the first half. I felt good today. Was a very tough one. Heat was over the moon and track was super rough, super sketchy. There was so much water for the 250s on Moto 2. I got out of the track because I was just in a mud hole and my bike just went sideways and almost crashed, regroup, passed everyone and got a win. So I controlled that one very good. Felt good physically, so let's go for the second one here in Lombok and try to do the same or even better.
Thanks, Jorge.
Jorge Prado. Yeah, just reiterating what the MX2 riders said, the amount of water that went down. He just got caught in a high-speed mud hole that sent him off the track on that opening lap. We'll see that in the highlights, of course, but he was able to regroup and, yeah, right place, right time in some places, and obviously pushing when he needed to make up some of that time as well. But once he got to the lead, he controlled it. It was a comfortable 5.3-second winner over Jeffrey Herlings, and that second first, getting him his 7th win of the season. Give you the results then as we have them. Jorge Prado, your winner from race 2, Red Bull Gas Factor Racing, edging out Jeffrey Herlings, Red Bull KTM, Jeremy Siwa, Kawasaki Racing Team, Vallanderen, Monster Energy Yamaha, and Tim Gajser, Team HRC. The Chip to Cycle Honda Motor Blues SR machine of Kevin Horgmo, 6th, great ride for him, ahead of the Nastan Husqvarna of Guadagnini. And then Cornelius Tondel, wow, he had absolutely nothing in the tank in race 1. He bounces back for an 8th in race 2 for Schmieker Racing. Good job for the Norwegian. Then we had Panzer, Patrol, Koldenhoff, Bonacorsi, Gio, Gifting, Okura, and Karoas. The overall podium, Jorge Prado on the top step. Here, the MXGP of West Nusa Tenggara, a 2nd and a 1st, the same points as Jeffrey Herlings, but the 2nd race result paying out. Herlings 2nd, Vallanderen on the podium for the first time in 2024. Gajser and Siwa rounding out the top 5. Kevin Horgmo, 6th overall, his best finish of the season. And the championship now, it was 34 at the start of the weekend. It's down to 22 points as we head to round 12 for the MXGP of Lombok, where the circuit runs in the opposite direction. Prado has gained a few points this weekend on the championship leader. Herlings lost a few more than he would have wanted to, but he's still very much in the championship fight. Hogmo, Gio moving up to 9th and 10th at the expense of Brian Bogas. Bogas, who was 9th at the start of the weekend, dislocated shoulder for him in the Ram qualifying race on Saturday. Husqvarna gained a position in the manufacturer's chase, but otherwise it's Honda who lead the way from Gajser and KTM. Let's take a look at the foxhole shot then, shall we? Very, very tight. Wow, is that Gajser? Might be, you know. So Tim Gajser with the foxhole shot for the 3rd time this year. Goes back ahead of Jeremy Siwa, who moved ahead of the Slovenian after race 1 with his 3rd of the campaign. Podium time then here for round 11, the FI Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of West Nusa Tenggara. 3rd overall, Calvin Verlanderen, and massive, huge sigh of relief for him. Yamaha down there, front row seats, and a big smile for the birthday boy from a couple of days ago. Twin brother Damon will be at home as well, celebrating this back in the Netherlands. But Calvin Verlanderen on the 3rd step for Monster Energy Yamaha with 2 4th-place finishes. 2nd overall, Jeffrey Herlings, bittersweet day for the Bullet and Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. Was on course for 2 race wins here in the top step of the podium. But in the end, 2nd place for the number 84. A return to the top step for Jorge Prado. Red Bull Gas Factory Racing. Win number 7 now for the Spaniard. 4 in a row in the first 4 rounds in Argentina, Spain, Sardinia and Trentino. And victorious in Galicia and Germany, and now here in Indonesia, West Nusa Tenggara. The IMI West Nusa Tenggara chief hands the 3rd place trophy, and a very well-deserved one, to Calvin Verlanderen. 3rd overall for the Monster Energy Yamaha rider this weekend. 2nd overall, Jeffrey Herlings, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. 144 podiums now for the Bullet. The former governor of West Nusa Tenggara handing the winner's trophy to Jorge Prado, Red Bull Gas Factory Racing. Win number 45 now for the Spaniard. Davide Carli, of course, will accept the team trophy from Stefan Carapiet. Championship leader's red plate, though. Just picked up a black plate a moment ago for his Foxhole Shot Award, his 3rd of the season. But a disappointed Tim Gajser, Team HRC. But you know what? He still has reason to smile. He is still leading the championship by 22 points. You'd rather be leading by 22 than losing by 22, or trailing by. Antonio Elia Portela, the FIM CMS director, handing Gajser the red plate once again. Tough conditions today. But for Jorge Prado and his army of Spanish fans all over the world, the national anthem of Spain. Jorge Prado wins round 11 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of West Nusa Tenggara, national anthem of Spain and Austria, with Red Bull Gas Factory Racing winning manufacturer here this weekend. Jeffrey Herlings, Calvin Verlanderen rounding out the top 3 here this weekend. We'll talk to them in a moment, but not before we've seen the highlights of MXGP Race 2. An explosive start once again, MXGP Race 2. Prado thought he got it covered, but it was Gajser who grabbed the black plate as Herlings tucked up the inside, caught them both napping to take over the lead. Prado was there in second, Gajser was third, C were fourth, Verlanderen a couple places further back. Prado almost out the front door there as he regained second around the outside of Gajser. And then watch this here, just hit a mud hole off the side of the track onto the asphalt, regained, well, he retook the circuit, but in third place as Verlanderen fell from fourth. He re-emerged in seventh, and he had a lot of work to do. Top of your screen, Herlings pulling away, jumped into the right-hander just a little bit too long, cross-rutted, and he went down on the left side, picked himself up in third place. And then as Prado dived down the inside of Gajser, he hit the brakes. Gajser misread it, tipped over as he tagged the rear wheel. And then Herlings capitalised here. He caught Gajser, moved into second, and then a lap later, or half a lap later, Gajser went down again here, lost the front and the back. It just pitched him out the side door, and he would re-emerge in 5th place, which is where he's finished. Jorge Prado was your winner from Herlings, Siwa, Verlanderen, but the overall Grand Prix was Prado, Herlings and Verlanderen, and here's Lisa with your winner.
Jorge Prado, congratulations, 7th overall of the season. Like you mentioned, you were off track in the opening lap, but you regrouped well and you're right where you needed to be when both your rivals made their mistakes.
Well, I was so happy with the victory. I've been riding very good all season long. It's a pity I lost with some mistakes in the last Podium Majora at the DNF. So came back strong here in Indonesia. The conditions were very tough, very, very physical. Pretty much the race was about physics and a bit of riding as well, but no, super happy with my performance. Not the perfect starts like I used to, but it was good enough to take the overall, and super happy. Now let's get a good week of training and rest, and ready for round 2 here in Indonesia. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jorge. 2nd overall today we have Jeffrey Herlings. Jeffrey, winner race 1. Race 2, you fell from the lead and then you had to ride around your problems, but you regrouped well. How do you reflect on this weekend?
It was a shame. It should have been a 1-1-1, but I did it myself, but I can't believe why they watered that much. It was like a mud race almost, so once you get out of the line, it was almost waiting to crash. So I crashed by myself. A little bit hurt my knee, but I think we'll be all good for next weekend. But yeah, 1-1-2 on the weekend is pretty good.
Thank you. 3rd overall today we have Calvin Verlanderen. Finally, Calvin, your first podium of the season. You've been growing over the GPs. Consistency paid off, and that second race you really had to dig deep, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a good first moto. I battled Jeremy for quite a bit. I wasted quite a lot of energy and got off to a good start in the second moto, and I was right up there in 4th. I made a stupid mistake. The guys put a lot of water on the track before the MX2 moto, and the track was really slippery. Made a stupid mistake, went down, and then I knew it was going to be a tough battle to get to the box, but passed a couple riders, and then Tim also had a mistake which allowed me to go through. But I'm so happy to be finally back on the box. It's been a hard-fought couple years since I've been on the podium, so it's a nice relief for myself, but also for the team. They work so hard, so I just want to say a big thanks to my family, just my girlfriend, everyone.
Well deserved. Thanks, Calvin.
An emotional podium then for Calvin Verlanderen, his first podium since his 2nd overall, round 14 in 2022 in Belgium, the circuit of Lommel. This is 13th podium in total, 7 of those as a 3rd place finisher, but a much needed, much timely one for him here in 2024. Jeffrey Herlings, slight damage to his knee as well when he fell, so hopefully he's going to be okay for the MXGP of Lombok. This circuit will run in the opposite direction in a week's time from now. But as he said, it should have been 1-1-1, quali race and the 2 race wins, but it is what it is. Go back, regroup, come out swinging next week. Jorge Prado, 34 points down at the start of the weekend, 22 points down as he gains more ground on the championship leaders' red plate. Solid day here today, a 2-1, the top step of the podium, his 7th win of the season and his 45th career Grand Prix victory. Jorge Prado, Red Bull Gas Factory Racing, on top here at the MXGP of West Nusa Tenggara. And we are out of time. We will be back, though, in a week from now on MXGP-TV.com or wherever else you are, the MXGP of Lombok. Look. And the track will run in the opposite direction, so it will be a left-right first turn into what was the penultimate corner on the track. So all of this stuff will be in the opposite direction. Blue skies that side and clouds elsewhere. We've probably been lucky with the weather today, who knows. But we will be back in 1 week from now. It was a brutal test today. It'll be just the same a week from now. Not just the circuit, the hot conditions. And the guys, fortunately, have a few days to recover. No travelling back to Europe and back to the next GP. They will be able to sit by the pool. They will continue to train, but we are done here. Right. We're out of time. Thanks a lot for watching. See you then. Bye for now.